Hey there everybody, this being my first video for my YouTube channel, it's gonna be, my channel primarily is gonna be for those suffering with mental illness, because I am a big advocate for, mental health, because I myself, just some of the things that I silently suffer from, so to speak, with the silent struggle is depression, borderline personality disorder, PTSD, anxiety, and panic attacks, which would also stem to be anxiety when it's really bad in public with people, which for me anyway gets like that quite a bit. And suicidal thoughts, which I haven't really had as of now that often anymore. But when I was first diagnosed with what I just mentioned, I was having very major trouble with all the above. And even so, all the above I still have trouble with, except for my suicidal thoughts, which for me, when I have suicidal thoughts, it's always in the case of being stuck in a corner, or when my brain can't, the wheels are turning, okay, but they get stuck. Something gets shoved in the, if you imagine gears, two gears, one here, one here, and this rotates that way, that rotates this way. Imagine something getting shoved in there and it can't no longer function. It gets stuck. Like if you put a pipe in there. That's like what my head does when I get stuck and I get put in a corner, whether it be through people, if I'm, for example, also when I'm trying to find something, if I'm trying to look for something because I lost something and I can't, it gets to the point where I can't find it. Or another example would be if I'm trying to figure something out, okay? For example, today, I eventually figured it out, but let's say for a second at first I hadn't figured it out. I start to get really, really frustrated and I can't function inside my head. It closes me all up inside, including I have the semicolon as well. But inside my head, when I can't figure something out, I shut down. I start to get frustrated. I get I will say I get angry too, because depending on the situation, I guess. But most of all, I get frustrated and I kind of shut down because I can't figure it out and I don't want to deal with it anymore. So I just stop. Because the longer I try to figure shit out, the worse it's going to get inside my head. But most of the time, really, they all affect me, okay? All of what I mentioned affects me. I can't really say mostly, but as of late, it had been my depression that was really, really bugging me as of late. There was a meme that I saw that said, you would never tell a cancer patient to forget about it. And I started thinking about that meme that I saw, which I actually posted on my Facebook page. But I started thinking about it and I figured, it's true, people don't tell cancer patients to forget about it. But for us in the mental health community that have problems like we do, I'm sure many of you have had the same issue that I've had, which is people tell you to knock it off, forget about it. It's no big deal, But I also just remember, if you're in the same position as me, number one, you're not the only one, okay? which took me a long time to realize that, because I was having a lot of issues, and a lot of my friends would constantly tell me, just remember that you're not the only person that has a problem with that thus and so problem. Which was an issue, which isn't an issue now, because I know I'm not the only person that has a problem with that, and those people are some of the most awesome people that I know in my life, or just in general. Because when it comes to people that are depressed or mentally ill, and I find a lot of us are very empathetic. Are very empathetic. We're very empathetic to other people's situations and how they feel. I know for myself, growing up in my situation, I'll keep it short, because if I told the full story, it'd be like an hour long. But my childhood wasn't the best. But in school, I was bullied badly, extremely badly. And of course, being bullied that bad, you get to the point where you become very angry with these people that are with the bullies, for example, which I have every right to be angry, but there is a certain degree to which you act out on that anger, see? And on the issue of the guns shootings that have been happening lately, not necessarily from someone who's mentally ill, but just people that have been pulling their guns lately. In no case do I ever, and I mean this, ever, unless someone is being attacked, okay, or physically hurt, do you ever pull your handgun. That's number one. Number two, all gun owners that buy a gun, and even the ones now, should go through a psychological evaluation to show that they are mentally competent to be able to own a firearm all across the board. I am all about the Second Amendment. I totally agree with it. It is there for our rights and our reason, and every reason, so that the government doesn't take over. I understand the reason that it's there. And without trying to get political, which I kind of just did, and I was trying to stay away from that, that's my view on that. Screenings, mental health screenings for anyone getting a handgun. I don't even care if it's a shotgun or a rifle. They get psychological evaluations for those too. So yeah, the mental health is very important to me, because many of my friends have problems with mental illness. Not all of them, but most of them do. And, you know, I'm the kind of person that I got this because every time I look at it, that just reminds me how much I've been through to get to this point. Regardless of my off days, you know, and my good days. Because everybody has off day. People that even that have a normal brain, okay? And that's, when I say normal, I say that lightly, okay? For the example of having a normal brain, what do I mean by that? I mean having a brain that thinks straight. You don't have mood swings. You're not depressed all the time. You can keep happy, okay? And not necessarily keep happy, I don't mean it like that, but you're able to be happier easier. Because for us that are depressed, and I know everyone's different that's depressed, but for me, there is no switch. When I'm depressed, I'm depressed. Fuck the whole day, okay? Screw the whole day. Today I was actually quite happy, okay? I was just, you know, I wasn't, maybe not necessarily fully happy, but I wasn't mad and I wasn't sad, but I wasn't happy. I was just kind of there, okay? In the middle, just crawling along like a slug, so to speak, if that makes sense. Just kind of not happy, but not pissed off. Which I also have a problem with really rapid manic mood swings. I mean, my mood swings sometimes are worse than a pregnant woman, because that's one of my coping skills is I cry a lot. because I tend to be a very sensitive person, which I also find funny because you know how society and your friends are always like, be yourself, but then when you're yourself, they judge you for it. Like, oh, well, I didn't really like the person that you are, so please don't be yourself, be fake. Which I would never want to be fake. I would always want to be truthful to the person that's my friend in the first place anyway. Because I try to be the kind of person that never sugarcoats the bullshit. I'm always sensitive and I always wear my heart on my sleeve because I'm the kind of person that loves, even if it's a day where I can't smile, okay, and I'm completely depressed, I enjoy making other people laugh and I enjoy making other people smile because that tells me that I just did something that made somebody else feel good in here. Well, not just in here, but up here too. But most of all in here. And I enjoy doing it. Very much so. So, it is a privilege and it's an opportunity. If you're interested in my Facebook page, for anybody who's watching this that happens to be suffer from one of the silent illnesses that I talked about, that I am diagnosed with, feel free to add me on Facebook at Liam Goldsmith. I apologize, Liam McHale. How do you fuck that up? Oops. I apologize, I'm a little shaky here because I'm not used to talking to so many people if I'm noticed that much. I mean, I would like to hope that I get pretty popular because I want to be able to resonate with other people that struggle and suffer with the same kind of shit I do. So, yeah, Liam McHale, my pictures are on there, and I'd also like to kind of do an advertise offshoot. Look up my friend Shannon Razorblade, amazing woman, great person. Follow her page. She's an awesome person. She puts on really fucking dope-ass concerts, especially in the metal scene. So yeah, add her as well. Add her page as well. Be very much appreciated. She also has a thing on GoFundMe for starting a brand new magazine. So go show your love there too. This is Crazy Mick signing out.